Bloody hell! That's a shock. But not as big as the shock that Shutterstock delivered this week. Well, Shutterstock has flushed my hopes and dreams down the toilet like last night's tikka masala, and we're just kind of dealing with the aftermath of the really ruthless announcement that they made. It's a typical big business thing, these ruthless announcements, and then afterwards total silence, and you guys figure it out for yourselves. Some contributors have ruthlessly responded in a similar fashion, in an angry way, and announced that they're pulling their portfolios. And some contributors have said that after all the work they've put into creating their portfolios, they're not going to pull years and years of work that can still earn them money in the future. It's all up in the air at the moment. How much money we can make out of Shutterstock now, or how much money Shutterstock can make out of us, is uncertain. From my perspective, from June 1 it will be 25 or more % less in commissions. I have to make a correction from my last video where I said I would lose 10 and 5%. It was more like 25 and 40%. So it's a big chunk, so I apologize for giving that wrong information, guys. It's a huge chunk. Everyone's pissed off, everyone's screaming and yelling at the moment. I've stopped uploading, that's for sure. I'm going to wait to see what happens during June, and then look at my numbers again. I think it's going to be a long wait, actually. I'm going to look at my sales for the next few months up until January, I think, and then if there's no more announcements from Shutterstock, then I will decide what to do after January, I think. So that leads me to thinking, you know, what am I going to do if the stock photography market crashes? Well, I've been thinking, and I thought I could try some learning how to be a mechanic. So I tinkered around with my own car because there was a strange noise coming from the engine, and I seem to have been able to have fixed that with some delicate tool work. And I also gave my car a nice oil change. So now that I've got my eye in with repairing cars, I think I'll offer my services to my neighbours. One of my neighbours has a 1960s Mustang GT, so he's allowed me to work on his engine tomorrow, and I have high hopes that that's going to go well. The microstock market is looking sicker than ever. There's been a lot of calls to go over to Adobe and Pond 5. Dreamstime have made an official announcement that they're raising commission rates by 10%, which is a fantastic declaration. But I've had a look at my Dreamstime income over the last year or so, and to be quite honest, just relying on the smaller agencies like Dreamstime is not going to sustain my passive income. So everyone going over to Adobe or Pond 5, it's just going to make a lot of competition there as well. So yeah, who knows what the results of that will be. I will also be working harder on my other stock agencies, but I've been wallowing around in my own self-pity lately, and just had this thought of the stock market is shrinking. It's already a pretty small pond. There's plenty of fish in that pond now, and the pond has just dried up again. We're in the middle of this depression, as some news outlets call it, regarding COVID. So money is tight, and I can understand why contributors who have dedicated their lives to their portfolio are reluctant to just throw it away by deleting it or closing down their account with Shutterstock, when they don't even know if Shutterstock will care if that makes a difference. I'm of the mind where Shutterstock probably has too many contributors, and people pulling their portfolios won't make much of a difference. I've already heard that some contributors are going to keep their portfolios on, so obviously not everyone is going to do that. Shutterstock are keeping quiet at the moment, and based on the lack of information, I'm not going to make any rash decisions. Okay, having said that, let's start looking at my numbers for May. Okay, so we're going to start with Adobe stock, and a lot of contributors have said that Adobe stock is the new way to go, but if I look at my numbers for the last month, Adobe stock is so far not the way to go for me. That is my own fault. I haven't put as much effort into Adobe stock as I have, say, for Shutterstock, so it's come around and bitten me right in the bum. But anyway, let's start looking at Adobe stock. I made one sale of some hard drives that I collected up. Half of those hard drives had died, so they're the perfect props because they don't serve any other purpose. And I sold that photo of those hard drives on a white background for 99 cents. Okay, the next highlight was, there used to be a bit of a craze here in the Netherlands. I don't know if it was a real craze, but my son was rolling up balls of tape to make different sized balls, and I did some Googling to see if there was a real thing, and showed that it was actually quite a trend for some kids to just roll these balls of tape with, say, electrical tape to create these round balls. So I started taking different photos of those things with different backgrounds, and I sold a photo of it for $3.30. Another highlight was I sold 5 wildlife photos on Adobe, and I always love it when I can sell wildlife photos, and those photos sold for $1.32. In total for the month of May, Adobe stock earned me $8.27. Okay, the next stock agency is Dreamstime, and I have 2,085 images on Dreamstime over the last 4 years that I've been uploading, and I had 6 downloads this month. One highlight was that I sold a photo of a kangaroo safety road sign in Tasmania, which I took a few years ago, I think 3 or 4 years ago, and that photo sold for $3.21. Okay, on to Alamy now, another potential candidate to replace Shutterstock in the future. I don't think so. For Alamy, I had 0 downloads and 0 sales. Okay, IEM, the German stock agency, and on this agency I have 355 photos, no videos, and 184 of those photos are made available to other stock agencies through its distribution channels. And I made 2 sales on IEM this month, and the first one was of the hard drives on a white background again, and I made $1.30 for that photo. And the second one was of the usual mustard pot that I always sell on that website, and I made 47 cents for that mustard pot. Okay, Depositphotos, I've got 1,807 images, and I had 4 downloads this month. The highlights were of a heavy lift crane vessel, and that photo made $2.38. And the low light was me scraping ice off the windscreen of my car during the winter, and that photo only made 17 cents. In total I made $3.40 with Depositphotos. 123RF is next, and I made 8 downloads this month with that stock agency, and I've got 1,376 images on it. I made one highlight photo which was of a windsurfer off the coast of Scheveningen, and it was a really busy day really hot, so a lot of people on the beach, a lot of boat traffic on the water, and the sail of this windsurfer was really colourful with the hectic background of Scheveningen. And for that photo I made $1.01. So in total for 123 RF this month I made $3.44. Okay, now on to big stock, where I have 1789 images and I had 2 downloads, and they made 25 cents each, and there was no real highlight obviously. And now we come up to Shutterstock, and when I'm contemplating this one I just think of other ways that I could be making money and what possibilities there are for me. Shutterstock this month I had 67 downloads, and I have a portfolio of 2100 images. I haven't uploaded anything to them since the announcement. In fact, my confession, I haven't uploaded anything to any of the websites since the announcement. I've been so affected by I'm speechless. It's left me unmotivated and really concerned for the future. But I'm slowly pulling myself together, and before long I'm going to come up with a plan. What that plan will be, I'm not sure. But anyway, let's get into it. I've got 67 downloads this month for Shutterstock, 2100 images is on my portfolio, and 91 videos. The highlights were I made a video sale of a farmers' protest in the Netherlands. A lot of people venting their anger, seems very familiar. And that farmers' protest video made me $7.87. Another highlight was I made a single of an urban fox, which made $5.60. And another single of a glass of soft drink for 62 cents. And I made 4 sales of on-demand photos of $2.70 each, since I got that recent commission raise, which they are going to take away very quickly. Okay, in total I made $46.67 from Shutterstock this month, which is in complete contrast to the amount I made for May 2019, when, although according to the old timers it wasn't the good times or the good old days, but it certainly was better days than it is now. And it just goes to show how depressed the world economy is at the moment. So, you know, it's not just the stock agencies who are making us suffer and suffering themselves. Every industry is pretty much copying it. And when I compare the May earnings of Shutterstock for 2020 with the May earnings of Shutterstock for 2019, this May I earned $46.67, and last May I earned $343. So it's going to take a long time for the world economy to get back on its feet again, at least 6 months. So I'm going to take that time to see what happens to my overall stock earnings. However, I have to take into account that 25% of my earnings are just going to go out the window after June. So I have to look to see how that affects me between June going up to January. And I guess if my earnings are at the minimum halved with Shutterstock, and probably significantly reduced with the other agencies, which I don't really earn enough from anyway to sustain me, I'm going to seriously have to consider whether the stock industry is viable. But I'm going to take some time. I'm going to evaluate the developments of the market and look what happens after the end of this month, and of course look at what happens after January. Okay, without further ado, how much did I earn in May 2019 from microstock? And the answer is $68.98. Now I'm going to compare that to the total amount that I earned from microstock for the last 2 months. And in March I earned $286. That was before the COVID crisis really kicked into gear. And for me that was a pretty significant amount. I didn't put a hell of a lot of work into it, so earning $286 passive income for probably 10 hours work was a good deal. Moving up to April, where the pandemic really took hold, I earned $91. So that was significantly less than half of the month before. Okay, if you liked this video, feel free to give it a like, and feel free to drop a comment in the comments box if you want to. And I'll catch you in the next video. See you later, and hang in there, guys.
Had a few kids, bought a new house, promised